Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another video. My name is PS. I'm gonna do a video report about Evoke demo party that happened in Cologne 5 to 7 of August. I went there in person, did a playlist with a few videos, random videos that I just captured of the party mood. Some include some sort of interviews, others are just showing what was happening, and I want to go through all the different things that happened and have some sort of party report and aftermath rant at the same time. First of all, I had great fun. Evoke was really cool. I really missed physical parties. So it was really cool to see everyone again. Let's start from the beginning. So a couple days before Evoke, I was still finishing some entries. I already had 2 entries finished, one for the interactive compo, which is a Tick 80 game, and another demo called Our True Love Halberd, which is an ode to pole arms, and now Halberd is the best pole arm of all the pole arms that ever existed for different reasons. And I've been working on these 2 entries. They were pretty much done 1 week before the party. I noticed some exporting issues, but I managed to fix them with help from Pandur. And the whole demo was made in cables, which was cool to get to learn and stuff. What else can I say? Music by Genio on both of the productions. We were also trying to do another production, or trying to finish a production that was left unfinished by Anticore started it, and Alien tried to help with it. I think 1 year, 2 years ago, and it was aimed for Evoke, to be released at Evoke. It was unfinished, so it was left around, and Anticore was working on another demo for Evoke this year, so we didn't have time to pick that one up and finish it. So I tried to finish something, but I was missing too many 3D assets, and there was a lot of weird stuff that I didn't have time, and I needed help from a few other people, and both Genio and Anticore weren't really in the mood to push it, to release it as a hack. They want to do something proper. So we ended up not finishing. It was left unfinished. Anyways, as I was trying to export my cables demo for the final wrap-up, I managed to break my headphones, which was really annoying. They were Shure 840. I'm not sure if I should buy a replacement thing for the top, or if I should get some new headphones. So comments, if anyone is headphone savvy, would you recommend me getting something better than the Shure 840? Is there like anything better around the same price range or slightly higher? Probably should invest in a little better, but I'm happy with the quality of these though. Anyways, Evoke. Finished my entries. I validated some stuff with Super Rogue for the thing that we were having. Asked Genio to print the stuff, brought it with me. Tried to get some sleep. I actually tried a couple days before Evoke, before traveling to Evoke, I tried to rotate my sleep, because I usually work at nights and I sleep during mornings, and that's bad when you have to catch a plane at midday. So I tried to rotate my sleep and just go to bed early, try to sleep. Of course, I failed, and then I couldn't get any work done during the evenings. I couldn't get anything done during the day either, because I was just too brain dead from not sleeping properly. And I still failed to rotate my sleep. So I spent the whole night before traveling to Evoke, lying in bed, trying to sleep and not really sleeping, and then waking up and going to the computer and do something that I've reminded that I've had forgotten, and then trying to go back to sleep, which is not unusual for traveling to demo parties, for me at least. Depends on the party. Some are smoother sailing than others. Anyways, no sleep. Finally, I was trying to get tired, started to get tired around 6:37 a.m., which would still give me a couple of hours of sleep. Kid woke up doing a lot of noise, screaming about wanting to eat or not wanting to eat. So yeah, no sleep at all that evening. Left home early, got the boat to go to Lisbon, got the subway to go to the airport. waited around for Genio for quite a long time. He finally arrived. We got something to eat. We checked some messages on Discord, planning to maybe catch a taxi from the airport with Flopin, who was also arriving slightly late, and we wanted to make sure that we could arrive on time for the Shader Showdown. Traveled by plane. We arrived. Plane was not cancelled, which seems to be a surprise these days. Arrive, and I had another mishap. I couldn't get the pin on my phone. I couldn't get a network on my phone when I got out of flight mode. It wouldn't automatically catch a random German one, so I decided to reboot my phone. Not remembering that I had changed the card on my phone, and I did not remember the pin. So that was fun, and of course all my information is on the phone, like where to travel, where to go, all my contacts, all that stuff. So I asked Genio to contact my wife through Discord. Of course she doesn't check Discord, so it took like 4 or 5 hours for her to read by accident that I lost my pin and pass it along to me. Anyways, that got sorted eventually. We still managed to find our way to the hotel. It's just catching a train from the train station, a couple stops, and a little walk. We were staying at Hotel Arena, which I do recommend. It's quite decent quality. It's already prepaid because we booked through booking.com. There was this funny thing that we were supposed to give a deposit of €100. It says so on the website, but when we asked about it, and Genio even went to withdraw extra €100 in Portugal just to make sure he had enough. And when we arrived there, I asked the guy about it, and he was like, "No, we only ask that for hooligans. It's like only when they're from England or Ireland, we bother asking, because those are people, when they come for the soccer matches, they destroy everything." For everyone else is fine. And they already know that we were digital artists because there were other demoziners staying at the hotel. So that was fun. We did the check-in. We went for the party place. Finally arrived at the party place. It was a little bit of a queue, and Flopin was on the queue. So she managed to arrive before we did, even though she was arriving later and coming by taxi. Didn't matter much though, because everything was delayed. All the timetable was pretty much delayed, which was good in our case. We didn't miss the Shader Showdown semifinals. There was a free barbecue, which was really cool. Free food is always good. There were some free drinks as well from this sponsoring company. I didn't dare go there because it was like Cuba Libre and stuff like that, and I didn't feel like getting hammered. I thought, let's stick with beer and then see where the night takes us. Super Rogue also offered me some beer in exchange for all the services rendered on the past year for helping with a Love Bite and other stuff, which was really cool. I didn't have a fridge with me, but luckily Frankie did, and he was friendly enough to allow us to use it. So that was where we managed to have our beers cold. I helped do some commentary for the Shader Showdown semifinals, which was also pretty fun. Both to see people shader coding live again and trying to hype everyone up. Was Nusen versus Totetmat, I think, was the first semifinal. Nusen was a bit rusty. It was really cool to see Totetmat for the first time live. I hadn't met him before, and he's been helping me with live code demozoo.org. It's more his than mine at this point. I started the project, but he's the one who's more aggressive about maintaining it, which is really cool. So it was really great to meet him. I think Totetmat won that one. Nusan was a bit rusty, and then it was Flopin versus Zorg. And I think Zorg lost that one, so Flopin went to the final. So the final was Flopin versus Totetmat, and I believe Flopin won at the end. Anyways, Shader Showdown was really cool. We already got the shaders from Garga. I managed to get them from the compo machines and send it to Totetmat. So livecodemozoo.org is updated. Not sure if you have the video. I remember they were doing some video recordings on the compo crew specifically, because we were waiting for them to be sure that they are recording before we go. We didn't ask for those recordings yet, but that would be cool to have on YouTube as well as an archive. And yeah, moving on to other stuff. What else happened? There was the Dino demo show, showing some demos that happened during the last couple of years, putting them on the big screen. Didn't really see them that much because I was too busy talking with all the folks that I haven't seen in a long time. It was really cool to seeing everyone again and talking about different stuff, size coding and a lot of different things. Then there was the final for the Shader Showdown. Uploaded some productions before I was too drunk. Remember to do that. Then there was the Gasman's concert that was happening, also outside. It was pretty cool. The PA versus vocals wasn't very on point. I'm not sure if it was just Gasman not being a very good singer, or if there was something wrong with the mix. But I still managed to get into the concert. It was really cool seeing him perform. Especially loved Into the Future, of course, which is one of my favorite songs from him. But Digga Digga B and all of the other stuff. He has a lot of cool tracks that really work well live. So really cool to see him and rock out to his Spectrum sounding concert. I think I gave up on wearing the mask at this point, as I was trying to wear it throughout the whole first day, just taking it off when I need to drink or eat or something like that, but trying to keep it on as much as possible. I gave up around the concert and the DJ set. DJ set by Alchema, which was really cool. Managed to dance a lot. Flopin did some visuals for that as well. Really cool to see. At some point, Genio offered me one of the jackets that he had brought, because I had brought nothing. I was promised a heat wave in Germany. People were telling me that it was the highest heat wave ever registered in Germany. I went there thinking that it's summer, and it was cold. So I guess definitions of heat wave for Germany and Portugal are slightly different. They are reaching 40 degrees. Oh my God, it's a heat wave. And we are like, okay, it's a heat wave. It's like 45. So yeah, but Genio came prepared and he gave me a jacket, so that was not so bad. Thank you so much, Genio. Walked to the hotel at the end of the first day. There was a few people, some demo sceners were chatting in front of the hotel room. I remember one of them was Ozan. I don't remember the other one. Maybe Blueberry. I think it was Blueberry. So yeah, it was really cool. Caught up a little bit, but I was already so tired. Just wanted to go to bed. Woke up with slightly a bit of hangover. Just managed to get a shower, go outside, try to grab something to eat. Was already around noon or something like that. Thought that Matt was also leaving the hotel, so we tried to find some food place. We actually went all the way to the party place, realized that the trash chic that I was hoping to experiment this time was closed, so we went back, tried to find something else. We ended up on this kebab place, and we actually had some very bad kebab thing. I don't know if it was because they were just opening or something. It just tasted weird. Better than no food, but it was not so good. Then we went back to the party place, saw the seminar of the DiskMag Onlynification project by Garguy, which was funny. He told about a lot of the stuff that he spent reverse engineering and how to set that up. A lot of these things he had already mentioned on Discord at some point or another, but it was really cool to see the presentation and ask some questions as well, and reminisce about the old DiskMag days, which I was a part of. I participated in quite a few DiskMags back in the day. There was another seminar, The Art of Coding, as well, which had some talks about the UNESCO heritage thing, some talks about the project of Mr. Pet, and a group discussion of people trying to discuss why people stay in the demo scene, why they are attracted to the demo scene, and try to do like a mind map of all the different reasons why we come and why we stay in the demo scene. That was an interesting discussion. I enjoyed it. The only thing with these seminars was that most of the people were without mask, And I was thinking of wearing mask, but when I arrived to the seminar, okay, we are closed doors and most people are without mask. So, last night I was already without mask, so fuck it. And that was when I decided sort of that I wasn't really wearing mask at full time. But I really, when I first started to go to the party, I decided I was going to wear a mask all the time. And then small moments like this were the ones where I started falling back on that self-made promise. Anyways, after the seminars, it was the Ashienansi compo, and I think I went back to wearing my mask at this point. I remember doing the interview for the Der Spiegel article wearing a mask. So that was something. Which was a nice talk, and I haven't read the article yet. It's in German, so I won't understand it anyways, but maybe try to Google translate it and see how that goes. But yeah, it was a nice talk with him about how it's like to explain the demo scene to someone who doesn't know what the demo scene is, and go through the little nuances of what the demo scene is about and why people are interested in it. So yeah. Then I tried to edit some info on the entries because I remembered that I was missing some additional information just to show on the beam slide. I was too drunk on the previous day to do it. Had some notes from the organizers on both compo entries, so I had to clarify some stuff. Apparently, my demo had very long file names, thank you to DAL-E rendering stuff, and it doesn't work on all directories. You need to be like in a very close to root directory for it to work. So final version with shorter file names, eventually at some point, if I see any other fix that might need to be done. I think most people watch these demos online anyways. They don't really download and run from their own system, but would be nice to fix that at some point. And they were asking about the interactive compo I would like to present. And the idea was me being on stage with a microphone and then having two people. I asked two random organizers that tell me we don't have organizer team dedicated for that, so I had to find two random people. I asked the first two people that I saw when I arrived outside, which were Genio and Leia, that were just chatting outside. They agreed to do it, set up the hours management to make sure it doesn't clash with eating time and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I had information that Totetmat gotten dizzy and decided to go back to the hotel room. And later on in the night, he decided that he was not coming back to the party place on Sunday either, that he was just going to go directly home. So he just started getting dizzy. I'm not sure if it was from the kebab, but I didn't feel anything. Maybe it was something else. It was too fast to be COVID, so I don't know. Anyways, free barbecue, which is always good. Had time to get one right before going to the Kolsch seminar by Reality 404. It was an interesting seminar. Not all were Kolsch beer, but I learned a bit about Kolsch beer and managed to taste a few of them. So yeah, it was fun. Then the OGG MP3 music compo, which had some decent entries overall. I didn't really feel like voting on the compo. I decided to skip it, but the quality of them were pretty much pretty decent for a music compo. Nothing really stood out to me. I'm not sure I agree with Tio winning, but maybe it wasn't just my kind of music. It was decently produced, but it didn't feel like a party winner compo. And Of Lobsters and Men also didn't feel like a winner entry. And Echolot was the JCO track, which had German text, and I can't understand anything, so it didn't do anything for me at all. So the compo was just, I don't know what to think about it. I remember Scrap Knuckle by Bitch. That was pretty aggressive, very EDM of stuff. And I remember Summer of Love because Summer of Love sounded like Sauna of Love. So yeah, music was good, but nothing really memorable. But maybe I'm just being picky. Anyways, after the music compo, went to release some stuff with Oh, I didn't talk about Ashi and Nancy compo at all. There were some pretty good entries in there. Actually, I think I missed the Amiga one. I only saw it on voting, but the Piranha entry was really good. And the ANSI compo, I also had some very good entries. I'm not sure if I agree with the one screen thing. I understand why they decided to do one screen instead of being a scroller thingy. But I kind of like the scroller concept of the ANSI compos a bit better. At least it allows for more storytelling in the pieces. But it was still a very high quality compo. Elko one with something that looked a bit more like a conversion than actually an ANSI thing. I didn't think it was a worthy winner, but whatever. I liked the Lemmy one, was pretty good. Gunshot Residue was also pretty good as well. Both of them were from Nail, and the cat thingy was also pretty well done. So yeah, overall pretty good releases on the ANSI compo. A shout out to Harvest from Portugal, who submitted something remotely, Nightes, and the Rubik's Cube was also pretty well done because it melted and had the whole melting thing. So pretty good releases overall, and a lot of releases, which was also pretty cool. Anyways, going back to on the timeline, after the music compo, I tried to release some stuff with Genio for the thing, because we're trying to do all this, because Genio wasn't in on the script yet, so we had to try to figure out how to do it, if there was any places where you could actually try to speak a little bit more, something like that. Try not to make it too gimmicky. We only had like one run of rehearsal. It felt too straightforward, so we just decided to try and wing it, and I think it worked out pretty decently at the end. Anyways, somewhere around this point, we went back to seeing the pixel graphics compo block, and I pretty much gave up on wearing the masks. Just focused on drinking my beer and having fun watching the compos. The pixel graphics compo was also pretty good. A lot of people complained about the palette. I kind of like the concept of the palette. I can see why these colors in particular were a bit... you had a gradient that you could use, and then you had solid red and the solid green that was a bit hard to match. And I think the challenge is exactly in that, in trying to match those colors into something that makes sense. I think the one that should have won was Arcade by Louisa. It had immense amount of detail, was very high res, very good use of the green and the red on the thing. Elko's entry was pretty good as well, although the dithering method was pretty much the same thing he used on last year's entries, or like the fingerprint thing to do the decals. It was very high quality though as well, so I can see why it ended up winning, but I was putting my money on Louisa actually. A lot of other good entries as well. Sleeping on the Job was alright, not one of my favorites, but it was good. Summoning a Demon in Eerie Blue had a lot of detail as well, but it only used the grayscale. I think both of these entries could have tried to use the red or the green in some shape, and we had quite a few good examples of how to use that. The Forest by Lunan was a very good one, like the lighting going in front of and behind the demon figure, both the green and the red used there to do some very weird anti-aliasing, which really worked as a light source. So that worked really well. I was expecting it to rank a lot higher. The How Job logo was pretty on point as well. Didn't use the full palette, but it was pretty good. Me, My Cat, and Evoke felt a bit unfinished, actually. I don't think it should have ranked this high, but it wasn't bad, but the mix between the cat and the face didn't feel very realistic. Ishuri and Spytomic was really good. I really enjoyed this one as well. Felt like it could use, still missing more red and green to complete it. And where's the other one that I wanted to talk about? It's not She by far. It was okay. It was okay. It had some good use of the green, but that's not the one that I wanted to talk about. Night Shift. Night Shift was the one that really used by Critical. It really used the green really well to do those glows on the backside of the boar, like a light source coming from the moon, and also the reflections on the face. I think it used really well the green on that. And a few other good entries. I think overall it was an interesting compo. Some people were complaining that it doesn't make sense to have the specific palette, but I think it does. I think it's a very Evoke thing to have like a specific palette that is not something common, and try to force people to do that. The arguments to not have the palette was that this comes from back in the days on older machines where we had restricted number of colors, and that was why and most coefficients hated to be restricted into the number of colors, and they became good at it because they had to be good at it, but they kind of hate those limitations. And the argument was that these kind of limitations, forcing this on a compo that should be where you should be doing graphics for fun instead of for work, kind of deters some people from participating. I don't think it's true. I think people enjoy the different challenge, and I think it's a good thing. And I also particularly like that the palette always changes every year, so you can't like pre-plan what you're gonna use. And you have to try to figure out a smart way to take full advantage of this particular palette. So I think I enjoy this being the palette. It's a bit of a barrier for me to participate particularly. I was thinking maybe trying to do something with machine learning or style transfer, but then I would have to dither everything manually, which if I was a graphician would be easy to do, but I'm not a graphician, so it's not trivial to do. So you need to actually do the pixel work, which maybe one day I'll just try it for fun's sake, but this year was not the day. Anyways, moving on to other stuff. So coming up next was the interactive competition, where I had something to be presented, and had Genio and Leia playing it on the backstage. And Garga came and tell me that Leia was feeling dizzy and not able to help me out. So two people that have been around me that are feeling randomly dizzy. I'm suddenly wondering, maybe it's me. Do I have a magnetic field? Did I do something? But I feel fine. I don't feel sick in any way. So I don't know. So anyways, Garga ended up stepping up and playing against Genio during the presentation. The interactive compo was really cool. Overall, it had a lot of entries to begin with, and all of them were pretty decent quality. The first ones were very boring to watch. I don't know why you would do a 10-minute video of a video game where the first 3 minutes are just showing the loading screen. It's just boring like hell. I'm talking about the TRSI game in particular. The game has good technology, don't get me wrong. It's I think it's very outstanding that they managed to do a Wolfenstein clone inside a Commodore 64. Although they managed to do some tricks to make that happen. Obviously, they were only using half of the lines that they had. It was like a small corner thing. They dressed the rest of the screen with graphics. Still relatively impressive, but it didn't feel really playable to me. Like, you could walk around, but you could, whenever something would come on screen, you never really understood what exactly it was. So it didn't feel like a fun game to play, in my humble opinion, for me. And I was quite surprised that it won. I was thinking it would place like 5th place or something in the compo, and it ended up winning by a lot of votes. So I don't know if it's TRSI hogging all the votes because they have a lot of members, or what the hell happened there, or maybe we have a lot of Commodore 64 fans in the party place, but that felt weird to me. The game that I thought would win was Scene Park Mystery by Bitfellows, which was made for Roblox, and it features a lot of different demo scene characters portrayed. I'm one of them, apparently, and it was made by a 14-year-old who enjoys doing Roblox development stuff, and I really, presentation was very well done, and it actually looked like fun to play, and I actually want to check it out. I haven't had time yet, but I actually want to try to play it out and see how complicated it is, or if it's just walking around. But yeah, really good work, and I was really thinking that this would win. Then in third place we had Audio Memory by KG, which was funny memory game, just with a twist of being with audio. Could put some audio of some famous demos or random sound effects. It felt a bit basic and polished. I wasn't expecting it to place very high, but it was well made and it was entertaining. So yeah. Then Space Street TI by Onslaught, which was actually pretty fun. It was for Texas Instruments, which we don't see a lot of. And the game was a clone of Frogger, but it felt fun to play like the original Frogger was, and the crowd was really into it when they were presenting it. So I thought it would place higher than the TRSI game, for example. Even though it's simpler to make, it was more fun in terms of gameplay to play. Then there was my game, High Noon, which people seem to enjoy, but didn't really get all that many votes. Slightly higher than Beer Mania, which was just a remake of Pipe Mania with some beer theme and some good music. Cosmos Crazy Scene Quiz. Actually, this game, Cosmos Crazy Scene Quiz, had everything to work well, except the audio. We couldn't understand anything from the audio. So if you had added like subtitles or something like that, it would have made something actually, or capture it with the proper microphone. It would make tons of difference, in my humble opinion. I think most of the people who are watching the video were like me, not understanding half of what the robot was saying, and just bored to death of watching the thing, which took way too long to be presented. So if it was like short 2-minute video or with subtitles so we could understand what the robot was saying, I think it would have placed a lot better. Then we had Marine Melodies by Resistance, which was a music disc. All the music was really good. I kept waiting for the submarine to hit the Walkman, but it never did. One time it almost reached it, and then it went just by it. Like, I was hoping for some collision detection there. But the music was really good, and I think it was pretty cool music disc. I don't think music disc has a fair treatment inside interactive compo. It's just really hard to measure. People vote more for the interactivity part, and just clicking for next track isn't very interactive. So it makes more sense that it's like some sort of game or some sort of thing that gets more votes instead of music disc. And I think this entry getting 8th place is a good proof of that. Then we had the Evoke 2022 logo generator, which was a cute little tool where you can remake the logo for Evoke 2022. So it's pretty good compo overall, 9 entries. I wasn't expecting that many. Previous editions of Evoke had like 3 entries, 4 entries. Was one of the reasons why I aimed for the interactive compo, was trying to make sure that I got into top 3, so I could like at least get some money back from all the traveling expenses that I got. But alas, I ended up 5th place. But I'm happy that the compo was competitive and that we had some good entries out of that. Moving on, after the compo we had The Thing. So The Thing was a Love Bite Turbo, which Super Rogue put together in a few days, like a week before the event. They were trying to get like a size coding competition happening at Evoke, but they couldn't define like a specific category. People were doing stuff for different things. So they were trying to aim for the interactive compo, actually, and find some way to have it like interactive, but it wasn't interactive enough to just have like showing the entries. And if we put some sort of voting system or battle system, we thought about that, but it didn't feel like it would fit with the rest. So we came up with this concept to do a presentation. I don't know why why Super Rogue preferred to put it in the middle of the compo blocks instead of submitting it to the animation as a video. But I think it worked pretty well. A lot of people liked it, and I guess we weren't doing it for the money anyways, or for the rank. Just we wanted to share tiny size coding stuff of the active people in the tiny size coding community to everyone else at Evoke, since a lot of us were present there. And I think it worked pretty well at the end. A lot of people gave us cheers for the presentation. We had the little gimmick where I was asking Genio for comments and then take the microphone away from him because we didn't have time to hear his comments. It kind of grew old after a while, but I think people enjoyed it anyways. A lot of good entries. Everything that was made for Love by Turbo was originally made for Love by Turbo on this past week. Like Super created a secret channel. He would ask people, okay, we're planning to do something for Evoke. Do you have time to do something? And if they said yes, it would be added to the channel. And a lot of people just submitted random stuff, different content, and Super Rogue edited all together on the first days of the week before Evoke. So yeah, a lot of work went into that, but I think it really compensated. A lot of people loved it. For quite a few of them came to tell us that it was like the highlight of the party. So thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Don't forget to attend Lovebite. Send your productions to Lovebite. It's happening on February 2023. Remote again as well this year. Once again, no physical location, but we're gonna have a nice live stream with a lot of cool compos. So do check it out. Then we had the alternative platform demo compo. And a lot of entries for a lot of stuff. I guess we'll start with the beginning. Area 5150 by CRTC and Hornet was the follow-up to 8088 miles per hour, exploring the extremes of what you can do on CGA machine, having like multicolor stuff happening on CGA machine. And it was crazy. It was crazy. If you know the limitations, you only had the PC speaker that was amplified and the music was awesome. Just all the things, like if you know the machine, the limitations of the machine, this demo is completely insane. It breaks all the things. It's full of hacks that they discovered, or tricks that they discovered to take full advantage of the hardware and the CGA modes that allows you to have color. Was really crazy to see, and not just those tricks, but how long it was and full of different scenes. So a lot of work was poured into that, and it really shows very high quality entry. And I would not be surprised if this was nominated for a meteoric for next year. In second place, we had 420 Years of Teletext by Attention Row, which was also pretty good. It felt like an animation on teletext, but everything was running on a Raspberry Pi and being sent to the teletext thing. The teletext receiving rate is limited by the carrier, so if you're having a dedicated machine, you can stream stuff to it, and it was not playing an animation. It was actually calculating stuff real time, and that's what was really interesting about it. And it was really cool, really quirky. It almost won over Area 5150, which felt like it would be a little bit of a crime, because I liked the teletext thing, but I don't think it's anywhere close to what CRTC and Hornet did for the CGA machine. Then we had Amiga stuff by Abyss, by Spreadpoint, and by Melon as well. All of them very short intros, all of them 64Ks, I believe. Actually, the Melon one was a full demo, because it had soundtrack with an ukulele, and I guess that's what took most of the space. All of them were pretty good Amiga releases, pretty nice. Then we had a music disc for the Atari ST, which got 5th place. Pharma SX for the MSX by the Pets Mode, Spanish guys doing like sort of an emulator of the pharmacy sign, which always has this very weird animations, and a lot of people say, oh, that's very demo scene like. So they picked that concept and made a lot of different animations for the pharmacy, for the fake pharmacy sign inside an MSX resolution. Had some famous demo scene productions being cameoed there as well. It was really, really cool entry. Got 6th place. Then there were some Commodore 64 things, some Game Boy Color things, a lot of different productions. Was a really packed compo. Was probably the best compo of the party, I might think. So yeah, really cool to see. What else? Well, I'm seeing here the animation compo. I completely skipped over it when I was talking about the pixel graphics competition. Animation compo, pretty much the first demo was the first entry was the only good one. Welcome Back by Izardov Inc. In second place, it was this weird Kevin real-time video with some weirdness on it, which didn't really make any sense. And the other two weren't really that well produced. I also didn't talk about the freestyle graphics, which also had some pretty good releases. A couple of executable graphics in it, actually, which is always cool to see. And both of them first timers, both Shira and Moko, were releasing something for the first time and doing executable graphics. I think we had a clear winner there, which was Feeding Time by Oni. Had a lot of stuff invested into it. Psychon's entry was also pretty good as well, but it was just a Blender render, and Oni's entry had a lot of different tools and techniques and a lot of work put into it. So it's really a worthy winner in my humble opinion. What else can I say? Let's go back to our timeline. The 4K compo. 4K compo also had a few releases. I think the top 3 were the best ones, so I think that was a correct voting, in my humble opinion. Longwick was just a quick 256 byte intro. Byte Band Butter by CN112 and Team 210 felt a bit unpolished in a lot of ways. The effects weren't bad, the music wasn't bad, but it didn't really click into place. Fantasy Escape had a very really cool idea of having the Pico 8 palette, which is a fantasy console for those who don't know, and then slowly showing that, oh wait, this is impossible to do on the Pico 8, so how is he really doing that? And then it shows that it's actually a shader that is replicating the Pico 8 palette, so you're escaping from the fantasy console itself. So really cool idea, well executed, well done Genio and Newson. In second place, we had Special Military Operation by Evoke for Linux, reference to the Ukrainian war. Was pretty well done, had good sound, good visuals, good theme to cover, even though it's a sad topic. I think it was tastefully covered, and it's good to, keep in your memory alive that Putin is still doing shit in Ukraine and that he needs to be stopped. And then the winner, Stahlbeton by LJ and Virgil. LJ and Virgil quality all the way. Very good scenes, good rendering, good camera placement, good lighting, really well rendered, and the sound as well, like the sound of rain, the sound of I think it felt like little birds twerking. I don't know the right words for that. It was really well made. One of the best entries from the party as well. Stalbeton, I think, was a worthy winner of the PC 4K compo. No 64K compo, which was kind of... Well, I was expecting a couple of entries at least, and that it would be merged with either the demo or the 4K. Having 0 was weird, but, it happens. 64K is not very popular at the moment. And then the PC demo compo. We had a demo from Oki, cables demo from Oki, which was finally with design, which was a really cool name to see. And he actually used quite a few different things from Cables GL. It might have abused it even more than I did on my demo. Rise of the Hypnoglow got 9th place. Was a little demo from Science. It had some nice effect, but it felt like a one-trick pony in the end. Archer Love by Halberd, the demo that I did with Genio and Totetmat. I really loved how it turned out. I think it was a very cool Cables GL experiment. I learned a lot of Cables GL. I'm really much looking forward to doing more Cables GL stuff in the future. If I can find a partner in crime to feed me some 3D or some ideas of stuff to do. Let's see how that turns out. I have someone in mind, but I don't want to throw them under the bus, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. 7th place is Mies by TV. Had a couple good effects, but it felt a bit disconnected. 6th place Hard Dancing by Unclag.net felt unfinished. 5th place Start of Adulthood by Digital Dynamite and United Force. Very good invitation demo for Function on this year. I love Sly Spy. I love his style. The music was completely ruined by the big sound system on the bug that happened, and we'll talk a little bit about that after I went through all the demos. But I loved it. A lot of detail, a lot of things happening all the time. Really cool. Really thought it would have placed higher, but it got 5th place. In 4th place, Circuit Serenade by Portuguese people. Anticore doing the code on Cables, and Genio doing the music. I really think it worked very well. Very good demo. It had like character, good concept behind it, and it was executed pretty decently. Maybe a little bit short. Maybe that's what it missed to really hit the spot and get higher place. But yeah, I think it was pretty well made. And congratulations, Anticore. You're like evolving very well. So looking forward to see the demos that he does further in the future. Insomnia by Still. Very good first scene. And then the second one, it felt a bit ripped off idea from Venetian Snares video, but not quite as well executed as on the Venetian Snares video. And then it just ended. So it felt a bit like maybe they ran out of time or ran out of ideas, and just wanted to do an invitation for a deadline. The pointer demo by Gaspod, also using Tool 3, was also pretty interesting. A bit gimmicky, but I think funny and interesting, and that's what it made it stood out and why it ended up in 2nd place. And in 1st place, Return by Caladox and the Rebels. Alchema, excellent music, and Mr. Vox also doing a very interesting code. A lot of different things happening on the code. Wasn't just a one-trick pony. A lot of different scenes, a lot of different paths. So it felt clear to me that this was the winning demo of the compo, and it did end up being. So about the sound. So everyone else was complaining that their sound was fucked up. When I heard Albert playing, I was like, what? My shitty columns and my in low volume at home have better sound than this big PA? Something is weird. Where's the orchestrations that Genio did? Why are the vocals, they're supposed to be like a choir? Why are they all muffled? So it turns out that when they were changing the compo machine, they were connecting it. Realtek drivers decided that this connection line needs some bass boost. So it just turned on bass boost by default, and then it ruined the whole 4K compo and demo compo. Organizers only noticed that something was wrong with the sound halfway through the compo, and then it was too late, because either they would have to replay all the demos and annoy some people, or they would just keep going, and at least everyone suffered the same way. It happens, I'm not blaming the organizers necessarily. These things can happen, and they didn't notice, and it's human error. It's normal. It did leave me a bit sad though, because I've been listening to the soundtrack so many times, and the soundtrack was such a big part of the demo. It was what made it epic. and the epicness of the soundtrack was what made the visuals even more ridiculous. And so that was a big part of the demo, was that contrast between the epicness of the soundtrack and the visuals just being like simple objects rotating. So it kind of ruined a bit our demo, at least to me it felt like that. But I'm the maker, so I'm probably biased about that. But I guess everyone else also suffered the same. So I was talking with Alkema, and at least he got to see his demo on the big screen playing properly when they showed it again after the winning. But everyone else that went there to see their demo on the big screen, they ended up seeing a crappy version of their demo being played, and that's sad. At least it made me a bit sad. Anyways, it is what it is. It sometimes happens that compos fuck up, and compo organizers are only human, so they also fuck up. I'm sure they didn't did it on purpose, and that they are blaming themselves more than we can possibly blame them. Anyways, try to finish the rest of the beers that I had. I had a whole Pfalger Kolsch keg that Reality 44 had left over from the seminar that he didn't want to take back with him to England, so he just gave it to me, and I've been drinking from that throughout all of the compos. I still had a couple beers left from Super Rogue's donation as well, which was also cool. So I had enough beer for the rest of the evening. Just had to eat some hot dogs to stay alive. Saw Luguber versus Lin DJ set. I danced like hell, which was really fun. My knees are a bit bad for quite a while now because of the whole parenting thing, having to go down and back up and go down and back up all the time. So my knees resented all the dancing, but my spirit did not, and I really enjoyed it. Big Store also did some VJing at some point. He plugged stuff up. It was really cool to see him mess around with Tool and do some stuff, do some accidental Colonia references and everything. Really nice evening. Luguber is my favorite drum and bass DJ, and I know Lynn's DJ sets as well, so it was really cool to see both of them back to back doing a great set. When I was finally tired, it was close to 3 a.m. I think. I decided to walk back to the hotel and set up the alarm clock for the checkout. I tried to rest my feet a little bit. Woke up not so hangover, which was pretty good. Took a quick shower, went for the checkout, managed to find a bakery selling some waffles, which was good for breakfast. Spent the morning just chatting with random people, keeping hydrating, catching up with people that I hadn't talked enough with during the rest of the day, waiting for the prize giving to finally be happening, and reminding myself to keep hydrated to compensate for all the beer drinking that had been happening. Then we had the prize giving. I already talked about the surprises on the results, so I'm not gonna cover that as well. I'd say farewell to everyone that we saw. Just did a quick round. We missed Super Rogue and Blossom. Sad to say, we only realized when we were already walking back to try to find some place to eat. But yeah, it was sad to see the party place go. It feels like home by now. I wanted one more day of partying at least. Managed to catch some food at the kebab place after a very strong discussion of why vegan burgers are much better than falafel stuff. And for those who don't know, because I wanted to go to Trash Chic, which is always closed, and when we passed by it, I told Gino I want to go to this place, and he goes, "Oh, it's a hamburger, it's fast food thing." I'm like, "No, it's vegan hamburgers. Vegan hamburgers are not fast food; they're gourmet shit. They have special sauces and special things in them. It's not fast food." And he goes, "No, I went to the falafel place; it was a lot better." Come on, falafel is a lot more fast food than vegan hamburgers. And we had this very healthy discussion, and we ended up eating at the kebab place, which was the only one open. We ended up eating some falafel, which wasn't particularly good. And now I promised to show him a much better vegan hamburger place here in Almada one of these days when he will come to visit. Anyways, we missed our train to the airport because we arrived just well as he was leaving. We had to buy another ticket, even though the previous ones that we had bought, we had not checked in the machine, so we could still have used those. Give some money to a dirty person without shoes that was asking for change. Probably shouldn't have given him any money. If he sounded like a drunkard, he smelled like a drunkard, he probably was a drunkard. Catch the plane back home, metro, boat, wearing mask all the time. Read a lot of Joe Nesbo back and forth. Got some angry looks from my wife when I told her that we probably shouldn't hug because I wasn't wearing mask most of the times. She wasn't angry because I wasn't wearing the mask. She was angry that I wouldn't hug her, or that I was suggesting that we would not hug for a few days. So I gave up on that theory, and yeah, so now I might or might not have contaminated my wife, might or might not have contaminated my kid. Put him to bed, uploaded the releases, put him on site on Puet and the TIC80 website, try to get some sleep, and I prayed that the headache that I was feeling was just jet lag and party aftermath and not actually COVID related. I'm still okay, still slightly headache, but I'm not feeling like I did when I had actual COVID. Hopefully it will stay that way. Let's see how it evolves. So, final conclusion about Evoke, the plus and minus of all the things. Plus point, great to see everyone again in person. I think the organizers did a great job setting the whole thing up. It felt like it was right back where it was in 2019. The layout was slightly different, slightly less people, some people still afraid to come, but I think overall the spirit was there, the quality of releases was there. It's really cool to see everyone again. Big screen and quality PA, that was really cool. Free food is also very good to always have. I think free coffee as well. They have the barbecue every day. They had free fruit on the info desk, which you could just take. A sponsor that also was giving out free drinks, so that's all pretty cool. You save some money that way, and it's very good to have options as well. So yeah, negative things of the party, having to travel to go there. But that's not really on them. Actually, technically speaking, comparing to other parties, traveling to Evoke is not that bad because it's just a flight and a small train ride. It could be a lot worse. The main bad things about the party for me was first not having the demo played properly on the big screen. That's one of the big motives that I go to the party, to be able to see my production being played properly on the big screen for everyone at the party place to enjoy. They couldn't enjoy it. They didn't see it as I wanted them to experience it. So that's a very big negative point that happened. The uncomfortable front row chairs, they were really uncomfortable. I mean, you can't sit on them more than 5 minutes and you start squirming on them because they really hurt your back, and it's not good. The regular chairs are a lot better than those flip-flop chairs that they put in front of the big screen. So I would definitely love to not see those chairs ever again and see the proper comfortable chairs instead for next year. Everyone should have worn masks a lot more than they did. I think we overall as a group, I'm not blaming the organizers for this, slacked off a lot. Everyone was not wearing masks. Everyone was huggable, which was good because I like hugs, but it wasn't good because we could have contaminated ourselves. So I don't know. I mean, this is a community thing, community mindset. And I fear for people who are not vaccinated, or they may be more susceptible to something. And there were a few of them there which took a risk going there, and I hope that they didn't catch COVID and get in a bad health condition because of the party. Other than that, one last point that I wanted to mention, negative point about Evoke, is that it felt like they didn't learn about the online presence that they had on the previous 2 years. Like the remote submission was you had to jump hoops to have remote submissions, and if you want people to contribute remotely, you shouldn't have to force them to find someone at the party place to submit something for you. That's one aspect of the thing. The other one was the live streaming thing. It had some hiccups, which most party live streams have. The main streaming service that they had broke halfway through. The other one on Twitch also had some freeze frames here and there, stuff like that. Overall, it worked, but it felt like all the effort, and this is not just to Evoke organizers in particular. I think it's for most parties who are now returning to the live setting. It felt like these 2 years should have enabled us, the demo scene overall, to think of ways where we could support remote demo sceners a lot better, and the remote viewing experience a lot better. Of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about your local visitors. I can understand why the main focus would be on that. But if you want to attract more people, new people into the demo scene, they mostly see a live stream first before going to the party. And the experience that we are giving them on these live streams that we're doing right now is assuming that you have went to a demo party before and assuming that you know what's going on. And most of the people going to those live streams do not know. And there is no proper introduction to what we are about to see. There is no proper links to the schedule. There is no proper video on demand for people to be able to catch up with what was missing. There's no, hyping of what's coming next, what they should be looking forward to. All of those things that we were kind of forced to do for the previous events during the pandemic that were online, it seems to be lost now. It seems like, okay, we don't care about that. Let's go back to the status quo. And for me as a senior from Portugal, and I've said this a few times before, even on the revision seminar roundtable that we did about demo parties. I'm from Portugal. I have one party in Portugal which I organize, and then most of my demo watching or demo scene experience is remote viewing. I always felt somewhat excluded from the party presence because it was always an afterthought to the organizers. I always had to contact someone to deliver my entry and hope that it would be played properly. And it doesn't have to be like that. You could have the voting system online. We have proven that it's easy to put it online for everyone to access. Even if you want to put it behind a paywall for people to have a ticket to be able to participate, we have done that already. Why are we going back to the system of having to have a vote key and being physically there? It doesn't make much sense in my head. Because for me, I want the demo scene to be completely international, not focused on the people who usually go to the local demo parties. I mean, Germany has 3, 4, 5, 6 demo parties a year. Hungary has 3, 4 demo parties a year. Finland has 3, 4 demo parties a year. Same thing with Sweden. But other countries, France, United Kingdom, countries throughout the world, they don't have those many parties. And for them, participating remotely to keep the flame of the demo scene spirit alive, to keep them thinking about what production can I do next for the party that I will physically attend. They need to be able to follow things remotely, and we shouldn't be putting this barrier. We should be having better welcoming videos and sessions and scheduling listing and even different ways to present a demo party. Why are we fixed on the weekend model, on the physical weekend model, when we could be doing something, with premieres happening every night throughout the whole week, leading up to the final thing? I think if a lot of the demo sceners who are currently focused on organizing demo parties would step back for a second and think of other ways to do stuff for the demo scene that would bring more awareness than having this whole lot of build up for just a weekend, we would have a lot of other things, alternative things, different things, more interesting things, more inclusive things for newbies than we have now. I think we are too much focused as a community on these physical events. And I understand why the physical events are important. I'm not saying we should get rid of all of them, but I wouldn't miss if we had less 4 or 5 of them a year and had instead a huge online event replacing them, where we could get a lot more newcomers to participate, and we could also get the veterans to keep in touch with the demo scene a lot stronger. So that's my personal opinion. That's how I feel. It's not. I know that it's not what a lot of the other demo sceners feel. I know that they still prefer the physical thing, but some food for thought for you. And I think Love Bite's a very good example of thinking outside the box and trying to make something else that has been working, because we did have the highest contributing demo party with the highest number of releases ever. For 2 years in a row, we beat the same record. So we're doing something right with Love Bite, and it's a model that maybe we should think, even though I'm not completely in agreement with Love Bite's thing of still replicating the full weekend thing. Some food for thought, which I would suggest some organizers, which might be burned out from organizing demo parties all the time, maybe you look at your setup and look at your friends and the people who could help you, and maybe think of something that might be more online inclusive, and you might get a better supporting community, and instead of stressing so much, because it's really a lot of work to organize a physical event. For someone who's just seeing it for the first time, it might not feel like it, but the whole logistics around it, securing the place, insurance for stuff if you need to get the beamer, you need to get the big screen, you need to get tables, you need to get chairs, you need to get internet, make sure that it's working properly. Someone to set up the party system, someone to set up the compos, recording of compos if it needs to be that, workshops, seminars, someone to think seminars, contact seminars, do public relations, bother people, do an invitation demo, spam people to come to your party. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of things, and I know that it's a lot of work because I've been doing it for Inertia for all these years, and we always been doing like skeleton crew, the bare minimum at Inertia most of the time, because we can't afford the manpower to do full-fledged stuff like Revision has. But I think a lot of medium-sized parties, like Evoke in this case, should be front-running this change, this revolution of not just being focused on the physical. Assembly did a good job in that regard, because Assembly always been on the front row of making it a TV thing, making also a stream thing. But Assembly also has other activities associated with it, all the gaming, all the stuff, which kind of drowns out the demo scene, and we could easily do something just demo scene focused that is about the same level of engagement. Because Assembly is a good example of how a big party did those parts right. Going big, it became part of every living room. Like it literally has a cable signal going directly into your living room, so you can see Assembly on your living room when Assembly is happening. And now they're doing the same for streaming. They capture everything that they do, they put it online as soon as possible. In that regard, Assembly is a good role model, but the other parties, demo scene exclusive parties, don't seem to really be focusing or don't really feel like that's a priority. Maybe it's lack of people to front that, and it is work to organize those logistics as well. I'm not saying that it's not, but if you have it as a second thought for your party and not as a priority, you will never bring them to the level that Assembly has. And I think it will make a difference for your party and people wanting to attend your party and considering your party as one of the best destinations if you would be front running those changes of bringing more newcomers into the specific one and explaining things to newcomers better through online streams. Anyways, that's my rant on remote participation and remote viewing not being as much as I would expect from Evoke, but I'm not inside of Evoke organizing. I don't know the troubles that they had. From what I heard from a couple of the organizers, they did have a few people dropping out from the organization, so it was hard just to do the party as it was, and they lacked manpower to do all the things that they would hope to do. Understand that, I respect that. I'm just saying that as a visitor and as a demo scener, I hope that next year you will think of this and try to implement this and get people on board earlier on to try to implement this sort of vision that becomes more inclusive for newcomers as well, and not just the people who are at the party place. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Thanks so much for watching this report. Let me know in your comments what you think, if you agree, if you disagree with me on all sort of different things. Always happy to hear your comments. See you next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want me to keep doing this kind of content and visit more demo parties and do this kind of content for you, of going there physically and knowing firsthand what it was like and doing some videos about that, please consider supporting me through patreon.com, patreon.com/psenough. Donate wherever you can afford. It's very much welcome. €1, €2, €5, one-time donation, anything is good. Because really, for me, going to this Evoke, I'm in the negative for traveling. I didn't get anything from the prize giving at all, which I was hoping to at least get something to pay back. So I'm in the negative this month. I'm negative because I don't have enough income and I don't have a current day job. My current day job is doing content creation, and it didn't pay me enough for the flight tickets to go to Evoke and back. That's the reality of things. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.